Shocking, my daughter-in-law humiliated me at dinner. How it feels to be up loser. FREVR. The dinner table looked normal enough, but hidden beneath the neatly pressed tablecloth were secrets waiting to explode. Mary had invited the whole family over for what she claimed would be a night filled with laughter and love. But as the wine flowed, so did the tension. Sitting there, with her previously sweet but suddenly sharp grin, my daughter-in-law prepared to unveil a shocking truth. I could feel the lump in my throat grow heavier as I anticipated the disaster waiting to unfold. Just minutes into the meal, she leaned in, her voice dripping with honeyed sarcasm, unleashing a story from years ago that had been carefully tucked away. "Do you remember that time you tried to tell everyone how to make meatloaf, Mom?" The way she smirked, it's as if a knife had twisted deep inside me. The dining room, once buzzing with chatter, fell silent. Eyes darted around the table, faces frozen in disbelief. I could hear my heart pounding in my ears, drowning out the clinks of cutlery. Tension thickened with each passing moment, wrapping around us like a heavy fog. My son, Derek, sat across from me, eyes wide and his mouth set in a thin line, clearly uncomfortable. I couldn't help but notice the way the room had shifted. Shadows crept in, turning family warmth into an icy chill. It wasn't just a story anymore, it felt like a tombstone had been placed over my dignity. Men and women fidgeted with their serving spoons, their silence demanding the unspoken judgment that hung in the air. Would they take her side? What had I done wrong? It didn't help that my hands trembled, making the glass shake dangerously close to the edge of the table. Everyone waited for my reaction, like spectators at a circus. "Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect." The jaw-dropping silence got louder. Faced with her laughter, I felt a swirl of emotions, anger, aches of shame, and that raw feeling of being utterly exposed. But just as I gathered myself, I noticed something shifting at the window's flashes, like shadows moving outside the house. I turned, but nothing was there. Was I losing my grip on reality? My chest tightened further, a storm breaking loose inside me. Then it happened. The lights flickered, plunging the room into semi-darkness, and for a heartbeat, we were all left hanging in uncertainty. It seemed like fate was trying to intervene in my moment of humiliation. All eyes were on me again, waiting for a hint of how I would respond. Was the electric tension about to snap? What lay beyond that odd flickering light? The thought left me breathless, and desperate for answers. The darkness stretched like an unwelcome shroud, and I felt my heart race faster, flipping in my chest as the lights flickered again, then steadied. It was as if the universe held its breath, waiting for my next move. Mary's eyes sparkled with a mix of triumph and anticipation, daring me to respond. Would I let her have the final word? Derek finally broke the silence, the tension tearing at him like a taut bowstring. "Can we lighten the mood? How about another toast?" His voice was strained, desperately searching for a way out of the tight corner we were all stuck in. The clinking glasses echoed hollowly around the table, but I couldn't drink. The bitterness in my mouth was far more potent than any wine. Mary rolled her eyes, refusing to look up from her plate, her smirk blooming wider. "Let us toast to honesty, shall we?" She crooned, her words slicing through the tension with chilling precision. Heads turned towards me again, and a lump lodged itself even deeper in my throat. This was no longer just a dinner, it was a battleground. As I scanned the room, I caught the fleeting expressions of my family. Some offered me sympathetic glances, but others whispered quietly among themselves, clearly reveling in watching the chaos unfold. The realization hit me like a gut punch. Was I the source of their amusement? The lights flickered once more, casting long shadows on the walls that warped restless visions in my mind. With each pulse, the laughter and cooking smells that once felt comforting morphed into something sinister. I glanced back at my daughter-in-law, whose smile now appeared stretched and unnatural, as if it belonged to a different person altogether. Mary leaned in closer, unrelenting. "So, let us clear the air, Mom. You've always liked giving your unsolicited advice, haven't you?" She taunted, punctuating her words like daggers. The room seemed to constrict around me, every tightening breath amplifying the pacing of my heart. Didn't she remember the loving moments we had shared? Did she care, or was my history now just a hunting ground for her cruel jokes? A flash once more caught my eye. This time a shadow danced across the window, a figure, perhaps? Panic rose as the room began to swirl. It was as if my vision was slipping. A sudden bang echoed from outside, jolting me back to reality. A lightning bolt had struck the yard, illuminating the confusion for an instant. "Mom?" Derek's voice surged through the haze of my thoughts, cutting deep like a lifeline thrown in turbulent waters. "Are you all right?" Just no words came. I struggled to catch my breath, the humiliation threatening to swallow me whole. I had to stand strong, to reclaim my power in this family storm. But how? When Mary leaned back, her voice dropping to a mock whisper. "Maybe it's time to unveil more secrets, don't you think?" My blood ran cold. What did she know? As uncertainty gripped my insides, I felt a desperate urge to uncover the truth about her. What had she been hiding? The night was about to take a dangerous turn, and I was determined to flip the narrative. I could not be the loser forever, but would the truth bring relief or more chaos? Did I have the strength to confront whatever darkness lurked in Mary's smile? The night was young, and secrets were brewing, waiting to spill. The air was thick with tension, so dense I could almost taste the fear swirling around us. Each heartbeat echoed like a drum in my ears as I searched Mary's face for any sign of what she might reveal. The glimmer of mischief dancing in her eyes felt like a warning, and somehow, it felt like a weapon. "Secrets?" I managed to croak out, my voice barely above a whisper. The room hushed, and every gaze pinned back on us like an arrow aimed at the bullseye. Mary leaned forward, her smile broadening into something unnerving, an invitation for dark revelations. "Why not start with the one about that time?" She paused, letting the silence stretch into an unbearable knot in my stomach. "You remember, don't you, Mom? The family vacation that turned into a disaster?" The memory hit me like a freight train. It was a summer somewhere between bliss and tragedy, an event cloaked in my own shame. I had believed it was a story swept under the rug, but Mary's eyes told me she wasn't done. No, she thrived on this chaos, on the thrill of exposing old wounds wide open again. "Really, Mary?" Derek interjected, his voice trembling slightly. "Do we have to do this here?" He was my loyal defender, but even he looked unsure. "Yes," she replied, undeterred, a serpent weaving through the underbrush. "Let us remind everyone of how Mom lost control, how easily she crumbled. Some of us are just looking for the truth." I fought to maintain my composure, the stakes rising as I felt the walls closing in. Every shred of love I had once harbored for Mary was slipping away, replaced with boiling resentment. How could this woman be worthy of my trust if she was so willing to tear at my past? "Don't play the victim, Mom," she continued, her voice smooth but filled with malicious glee. "It'll only make this more entertaining for them." My family's eyes burrowed into me, waiting for my response, much like expectant children watching a puppet show. I could either let her have this moment or snatch it back and set the stage for my own reveal. Did she think I wouldn't fight back? Did she think I'd cower in the face of her smirk? A crash outside interrupted my spiraling thoughts. Glass shattered against the hardwood floor, and I flinched. The lights flickered again, and for a brief moment, the room plunged into darkness. Shrieks of surprise erupted, chairs scraped against the floor in a symphony of chaos. My heart raced in tandem with my thoughts. Was something more significant happening outside? When the lights flickered back on, folks leapt to their feet. I tried to calm my breath, to harness the moment. "Did you all hear that?" I asked. My voice was steadier than I felt. "It seems we might have more than family secrets lurking tonight." Mary rolled her eyes, trying to regain command of the situation. "Forget about that. Let us stick to secrets about you. But her voice was trembling just a bit now. Maybe you should focus on what's lurking in your own shadow, Mary. There's always a reckoning for those who taunt others. My words struck her, and for a heartbeat, I saw fear flicker in her dark gaze. But just as I thought I could turn the tables, the door burst open, revealing a dark silhouette framed by the storm outside, rain pouring sheets against the house, lightning illuminating a figure soaked to the bone. All eyes turned toward it, a stranger, breathing heavily, their eyes wide with panic. Help, there is something out there. What could possibly be out there, and why was this night spiraling into a reveal that had nothing to do with us? With all our secrets about to collide, I felt a foreboding ache tightening in my chest. We might just find out tonight what tormented souls were truly lurking just beyond our doors. The stranger stumbled into the room, clinging to the doorframe as if it was his only lifeline. The flickering light cast eerie shadows across his face, highlighting the terror etched into every feature. His breath came in ragged gasps, and the chaotic murmurs surrounding us grew louder, a cacophony of fear. What do you mean, something out there? I swallowed hard, my throat dry as sandpaper. The family had completely forgotten about the tension between Mary and me, shifting their attention to this sudden intruder. It was like flipping a switch, all curiosity and suspicion aimed at him now. I was driving out on the West Road, he stammered, taking a step inside. Water dripped from his clothes, pooling at his feet as he continued. I saw something. Something in the woods. I don't know what it was, but it was watching me. It moved so fast. His words sent a ripple of dread through the room. The storm raged outside, wind howling against the windows like a chorus warning us from the darkness beyond. I exchanged glances with Derek, his brow furrowed in worry. Mary's eyes darted between the stranger and me, that familiar glimmer of mischief now replaced with uncertainty. What were you doing out there? She challenged, her bravado faltering. Does it matter? I snapped, my frustration boiling over. We need to know what he saw. Every face in the room mirrored my disbelief, fear dancing in their eyes. Suddenly, the events of the night twisted into something profound. Were those secrets of old willing to make their way back into the light, or was there an actual monster lurking just outside, waiting to consume us whole? The stranger took a deep breath, visibly collecting himself. It looked like a creature. Something not from this world. It was huge. Big and covered in shadows. I felt its eyes on me. When I turned, it was gone. His voice cracked, the panic resurfacing like an unwelcome guest. A chilling silence enveloped us, the kind that clawed at the edges of sanity. I could almost feel the unseen creature surrounding us. What if it could hear our thoughts? What if it thrived on our fears? Then, a cracking sound jolted us all. Outside, a tree branch snapped, crashing against the ground. The pounding rain mingled with my rapid heartbeat as I shouted, "We need to lock the doors. Confirm the windows are secure." Everyone sprang into action, scrambling to barricade the entrance. But as I moved, I caught Mary's intense gaze lingering on me, an unspoken challenge. "Are you really going to fall for his trick, Mom?" She taunted, her voice a chilling whisper just beneath the noise. "Prove you're not as weak as you used to be." I felt the wrath boil beneath my skin, the anger at her disregard of the threat outside and of my own frailty. But I steeled myself, knowing I had to protect my family. I could either crumble or rise to the occasion. The lights flickered again, plunging us into shadows before stabilizing, revealing the stranger staring wide-eyed at something behind me. "Look!" he gasped, pointing towards the window. A figure loomed just outside the glass, obscured by darkness. My heart seized, breath hitching painfully in my throat. Was it the creature? Fingers trembling, I turned slowly, staring into the abyss that was threatening to swallow us whole. All of the tension, all of the hidden secrets, all of the laughter and misery we had experienced was nothing if we didn't face this together, but in our hearts, we all feared that one thing more than the creature outside, the ghosts of our pasts that had finally come to haunt us in the most horrific of ways. What now? I thought, dread settling in my gut. What lay beyond the door, and could it bring an end to all we knew? The darkness pressed against the window, alive and swirling with an energy that made the air thick. I strained to see beyond the glass, a struggle between logic and instinct brewing within me. Suddenly, the stark flash of lightning illuminated the figure outside, revealing a silhouette too monstrous to grasp. It was as if the shadows had taken shape, crouching low, breathing heavily, its eyes glowing like embers. "Get away from there!" I yelled, propelled by a primal urge to protect my family. The stranger stumbled backwards, his breath hitching in shallow gasps. Mary shot forward, her snarky bravado replaced by something more sinister. "It's just a trick of the light," she sneered, eyes flickering with fear. "You're all being ridiculous." "No," I retorted, heart racing. "That's not just the light. It's real." The family gathered closer, pushing against one another, the weight of tension thickening the air. I could feel their unease, the pulse of raw fear echoing in their hearts. Out of the corner of my eye, Derek's knuckles turned white around the wooden chair he clutched, his mouth pressed into a tight line. "If it sees us, it'll know we're here," the stranger whispered, voice trembling. "We can't let it know we're afraid. It feeds off that." I nodded, every instinct aligning with his warning. We had to show strength. I glanced at Mary. Her defiance was crumbling. "Help me secure the door," I commanded, forcing the authority into my voice that felt like a mask I had to wear. She opened her mouth to argue, but the urgency in my eyes made her move quickly to gather more furniture to barricade the entry. As we worked silently, a low growl rumbled from outside, vibrating through the floorboards. What kind of monster was lurking beyond our fragile defenses? "Did you hear that?" Derek hissed, fear cracking in his voice. "Yes," I replied, urgently. "That means it's close. Moving closer." Droplets of rain splattered against the glass like 1,000 whispered secrets, and we shuddered in unison as the howling wind picked up. Suddenly, a loud thud hit the side of the house, shaking the walls and reverberating through our bones. An eyesore of panic spread across the family's faces. Fear of the creature outside had morphed into something deeper, more imminent. What if it can break in? What if we're not safe anywhere? Mary finally broke, her bravado disappearing. I could feel the crack in the dam of my resolve. "We must stay strong. Together we can face it," my voice barely above a whisper, swallowed by the storm outside. Then, without warning, the lights flickered and died. We plunged into darkness, the only sound now the rhythmic drumming of rain on the roof and our own ragged breathing. "Someone get a flashlight," I commanded, my heart pounding louder with each passing second. Panic gripped me as the realization rolled over us. If the creature could strike from the shadows, our flickering lights had already betrayed us. That I and the darkness that surrounded us. Whispers began. No, they weren't whispers, they were cries. Lamenting, tortured sounds that crawled beneath our skin. They seemed to emanate from every corner of the room, taunting us, feeding on our despair. That I turned, searching for the source. "What is happening?" I hissed in a voice edged with desperation, and then, a soft voice broke through the haze, one I recognized instantly. "Mom, listen." My blood ran cold as I whirled towards Mary. "Don't listen to it," Derek shouted, but it was too late. I was already drawn in by the brooding echo of her voice, a sound tangled in regret and something far more sinister than the thing outside. "Mom, it's me you need to remember." What was she trying to say? Did she really believe that somehow the shadows could speak to us, or was this something inside her? But before I could comprehend her words further, a thunderous roar erupted from outside, signaling that whatever hunted us had reached the threshold of our fear. And then, as the darkness swallowed our last chance at understanding, a figure burst through the door. What had we truly invited into our lives? And were the truths lurking just as terrifying as the creature outside? The door flew open with a force that shook the very foundations of our house, splintering the moment into chaos. A gust of wind blasted through, carrying with it the scent of damp earth and something foul, something that coiled around our throats and squeezed. I stumbled back, bracing myself against the table. The newcomer, a grotesque amalgamation of shadow and nightmare, loomed in the doorway, its breath hot and rancid, filling the air with palpable dread. "Get away from us," I shouted, raising my arms instinctively as if they could ward off the horror manifesting before us. The figure paused, glittering eyes scanning the dim room, searching, hungry. "Mom!" Mary gasped, her voice trembling. Her bravado shattered, she reached for me, hands outstretched, panic etching deep lines into her forehead. "What is that thing?" A feral growl erupted from the creature, vibrating through the very bones of our home. It knows your fears," it rasped, voice scratchy and warped, as if spoken through the throat of a wounded animal. "No, it can't. We won't let it." Derek cried, his face blanching as he clutched the chair as if it were the last remaining barrier between us and the abyss. My heart thudded against my chest, its chaotic rhythm drowning out the drumming rain. I turned to the others, desperation pulling me taut. "We have to fight. If it feeds on fear, we can't." The creature lunged forward, quick as lightning. In that instant, Mary screamed, a sound that rattled my bones. Fear clawed at my insides as I watched the shadows twist and thrash. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Derek backing away, his face pale like a ghost in the flickering darkness. "Mom!" Mary cried again, but the words were drowned out by the growl, deep and resonant. It felt like an earthquake, a disruption that rippled through the shadows, threatening to swallow everything whole. "No! Focus!" I shouted, forcing myself to stay anchored. I turned my attention back to the intruder, its ghastly form twitching, shifting as though it were unsteady. "It's here because we let it in." Suddenly, the room erupted into a cacophony of screams and rattling furniture as it advanced. Mary shoved something, a lamp, maybe, into my hands, the shade warm and familiar. "Help!" she cried, rage mixed with terror, a wicked cocktail that finally burst from her lips. Instinctually, I raised the lamp as if it were a weapon. "Stay together!" I yelled to my family, stepping to the front. "We stand united against this thing." The creature hissed, recoiling, the light shimmering for a moment in the gloom. It became a ghostly sheen against its monstrous form, revealing glimmers of features lost to the dark. I steeled myself, hatred and fear cracking through the facade of courage. "Don't let it in," I urged, every ounce of my being pouring into that desperate plea. But as I looked into the eyes of my family, I could see their resolve wavering, swallowed by terror. Derek, lips trembling, took a hesitant step back. "What if it's right? What if this is just a reflection?" "No!" Mary shouted, cutting him off, something fierce igniting in her gaze. "We have to fight. We can't let it twist our minds." As the words hung in the air, the figure moved, lunging again, its claws whipping through the darkness like flash fire. The air crackled, electric and painful, as I swung the lamp, cracking it against its shadowy form. The world around us quaked, the room pulsing as though it were alive, caught in a struggle between light and dark. The creature hissed, shifting back, but for how long? Seconds stretched into endless spirals of tension, breaths caught in our throats. Then, a voice inside me cried out, as if from deep within the shadows. "You've welcomed us, you've welcomed your fears." "What does that mean?" I gasped, breathless. The creature narrowed its glowing eyes, a chilling promise glinting in the darkness. "It's not just here for you." In the thickening silence, a thought crashed over me, a wave of cold realization. What had we truly unleashed? The clamor of fear, the shadows of our past, were mingling, twisting together, to become something even worse. As I watched helplessly, horror dawning, and beneath it all, somewhere in the dark, a second voice whispered softly, "You need to remember." What memories lurked in the depths of that shadow? And could we confront it before it consumed us whole? The creature staggered back, hissing as it sensed the flickering light. The lamp was our only shield against the abyss, and it was nearly slipping from my grasp. The adrenaline coursed through me like fire, mingling with the icy grip of fear that threatened to paralyze my limbs. "Mom, don't let it take you," Mary cried, her voice sharp with urgency. The wild desperation in her eyes anchored me, spurring me to fight back against the growing shadows. I gripped the lamp tighter, its warm surface a tangible reminder of normalcy in the darkest moment of our lives. "Get behind me," I shouted, hoping to infuse strength into my words, hoping they could form a barrier wider than the creature itself. I can't. Derek stammered, the fight evaporating from his posture. I could see the uncertainty on his face, wrestling with the burgeoning dread. Focus on something good. I shouted, feeling the weight of panic undermining my challenge. Think about something that makes you happy. The creature sprang again, this time zigzagging with unnatural grace, its form a blur of shadow. I swung the lamp with all my might, the glass shade ringing like a bell as it collided with the creature's side. It hissed in a chorus of pain, a sound that curved through the air, chilling my bones. Just then, an idea struck me, a desperate, almost reckless thought. This thing feeds on fear, then we'll give it our courage. Courage? Derek echoed, confusion furrowing his brow. Strength in our memories, I said, voice steadying. Let us throw it back. Remember the best moments, the love, the joy. It can't stand those. Mom, Mary chimed in, a flicker of determination sparking to life. Together? Yes. Together. I rallied, feeling the rush of unity forming, a fragile bond against the dark. As we pulled closer, hands clasped, I urged them, think of our family, our laughter, the holidays, all those nights where we felt safe and happy. Derek's face shifted, a hint of resolve igniting. The beach vacations. He shouted. Remember Gramps' stories. Mary added, her voice gaining strength. The shadows twisted and churned, the creature trying to inch forward, but our memories shot through the darkness like arrows of light. Each recollection mingled in the air around us, vibrant and alive, cutting through the brooding haze. Keep going. I shouted, the resonance of our voices weaving a tapestry against the darkness. Movie night's popcorn. Derek yelled, and as he did, the creature shrieked, the sound almost human, as if our joy was a poison to its essence. With every cherished memory offered, the creature recoiled further, shadows unraveling at the seams. The lamp glowed brighter, illuminating more of the room, spilling warmth into the corners that had been steeped in dread. Suddenly, its glittering eyes locked onto me, a look of malicious intent sharpening the features hidden within shadow. You think nostalgia can save you? It screeched, and the air before us pulsed, foreboding. Those memories are just dim reflections. I feast on more than fear, I crave the pain buried deep within. The room shuddered with those words, and I trembled, caught between a fight and the realization of our own inner demons. No. I insisted, gripping Mary and Derek tighter. We are stronger than that. Yet, as the shadows thickened, I could sense a flicker of doubt within myself, a reminder of every regret and hurt I had buried. Had we only scratched the surface? Could our collective joy unravel whatever this abomination had planned for us? The air thickened, tangible with impending despair as the creature surged, a tide of darkness flooding toward us. I braced myself for what was to come, heart racing, unsure if we truly were strong enough to confront this malevolence. No. I screamed, forcing the last remnants of confidence to rise within me. You don't own us. But in that moment, just as I readied to unleash everything I had, the lamp flickered, and darkness swallowed the light. In the suffocating dark, a new wave of realization dawned. Each of us stood on the brink of our own fears. Together, we might be strong, but what if the shadows had already claimed more than we knew? And just as I felt despair twist into my chest, the creature leered, its intent clearer than ever. You will remember, and it will be too late. What awaited us, hidden beneath layers of our own past? Would we unravel more than just the shadows, but the secrets that bound us in fear? Panic surged through me as the darkness pressed in, choking and thick like smoke. I could hear faint whispers of memories fluttering at the edges of my mind, but they were lost, swallowed by the creature's growling presence. Mary squeezed my hand, her small fingers trembling, and I could feel Derek's body tense behind me, ready to either flee or fight. We can't let it win. I yelled into the void, desperate to pull us back from the precipice. But my own resolve was wavering. The creature loomed closer, its body an undulating mass of shadow, flickering like the dying light of our lamp. Remember the first time we saw snow? Mary's voice broke through the suffocating air, tentative at first. We built that huge snowman together. It was amazing. A flicker, just a flicker, glowed faintly in the darkness, reminiscent of warmth, laughter, and family. Yes. The snowman. I threw snowballs at you and Gramps laughed. I shouted, holding on to her memory like a lifeline. Remember that camping trip? Derek offered boldly, his voice growing in strength. We stayed up late and told scary stories by the fire. The creature recoiled slightly, its form jerking with an unsettling energy, as if our memories were actual weapons striking it. I hurled my own cherished moments, hoping they would inflict pain. Our family dinners, the way we all laughed so hard we cried. We are a family together, we are unstoppable. The tension in the room shifted, and I felt the collective tremors of our shared joy pressing against the thick veil of darkness. But then, echoes of whispered fears crept in. They slithered through my mind like cold fingers. Who had I become? Had I buried so much pain that it threatened to rise up, to engulf us all? Mom. Mary's urgent tone pulled me back. The creature lunged, its mouth opening wide in a gaping maw of darkness, eager to devour us all. Think louder. Think brighter. I urged, forcing more memories into the air. Remember the first time we bought a puppy? How it chased its tail, and we couldn't stop laughing. I was scared. Derek shouted, his voice rising like a beacon. But we took care of it together. Yes. We cared for it and it grew strong. Just like us. And as we fought to imbue our voices with the strength we needed, I could see the creature shrink back, its form wavering like a flickering flame. You think your joy has power? It hissed again, but its tone was less confident now, more defensive. Your memories, they only remind you of what you've lost. Something in those words struck me deep, unsettling my heart. The pain we had buried, the sorrow from past failures, it hung above us like a storm cloud. It's true. I yelled, shoving the worry aside. But the love we share is greater. We will not let you turn our memories into chains. With every powerful recollection we summoned, the shadows grew thinner. We faced worse. I shouted. Together, we are whole. Together. Mary and Derek echoed, and their voices rang like a bell, clear and bright. At that moment, the lamp flickered back to life, illuminating the space around us in a glowing embrace. The creature cried out, a wailing sound of fury, as the light pushed against it. Yet, amidst the struggle, I caught a glimpse of something else, an unsettling flash of my own reflection in the creature's eyes. Pain, regret, the raw knowledge of mistakes made it was like staring into my own soul, exposed and raw. Mom. It's coming back. Derek's panicked shout pulled me once more into the fray, breaking that trance. I had to fight, I had to push forward. As the creature began to surge forward one more time, a realization settled in my gut. Our memories were not just shields, they were chains that could bind us to our pain or set us free. Which side would we choose to fight for? In that moment of clarity, as the creature lunged in a dark wave, I realized the confrontation was not just against the beast, but against our own pasts. And whatever awaited us in this dark battleground was inseparable from what lay within ourselves. Would we shatter the glass of memories holding us prisoner, or would we be consumed by our own darkness? The darkness surged again, almost like a living thing, 1,000 cold tendrils stretching out to ensnare us. I could feel it clawing at my mind, reminding me of every mistake I had made, every time I had faltered. I had to fight it off. We're not done. I screamed, refusing to back down. Keep your memories alive. Mary shouted, her voice fierce enough to shake the walls around us. They can't take our happiness. I nodded, feeling the rush of her words. The light was flickering, but it was sparking hope, a fragile flame amidst the chaos. Think of our adventures. I called out, scrambling to pull more from the depths of my mind. The summer we hiked the mountains. The way we screamed when we saw that waterfall. The first time we saw the ocean. With each recollection, the creature writhed and twisted, growing less corporeal, as if our joy was unraveling its substance. It hissed in defiance, trying to drown out our memories. "You think you can escape?" Its voice roared, deep and menacing, trapping us in its dark claws. "No!" Derek cried, stepping forward, his small yet brave form cutting through the encroaching shadows. "We've faced every challenge together, and we will do it again." He hesitated, then stood tall. "Remember the birthday surprises? Mom baking that terrible cake? You laughed so hard." "Yes." Mary joined him. "And we made the best of it. We were happy together." Our voices became a chorus of laughter, of love, as they blended together. The glow grew brighter, filling the oppressive darkness with light that expanded outward in waves. The creature howled, the sound like nails against chalkboards, every sweep of its shadow clashing against the warmth we were conjuring. "You think this will stop me?" It roared, undulating with desperation. "You cannot erase your pain." But there was strength in our memories, power that surged through our hearts. "We're more than pain," I countered, as the pressure built. "We have triumphs. We have love. We have us." Suddenly, in the barrage of memories, a stark image surged to the forefront of my mind, my husband's face, full of promise and dreams, and the last words he ever whispered, "Keep our family together." I felt a sharp pang, a rush of warmth mixed with a chilling sorrow, but it anchored me. It was a reminder of who we were and how far we had come. With urgency, I shouted, "No matter what happens, we are a family. Our bond is stronger than any darkness." The creature reared back, its form thinning, a swelling in the air that made it writhe with agony. It didn't like our unity, it fed off our fears, our regrets. "You do not understand," it screeched. "Then let me show you," I retorted, summoning the memory of our best moments, pulling forth laughter and joy like a shield. The warmth wrapped around us, pushing against the swirling shadows. As the creature started to break apart, I felt a spark of fear within me, the doubt creeping in again. If the darkness was truly part of us, what would remain when it was gone? What if we were left empty, with only the echoes of our failures? I couldn't let that happen. "Remember the moves we practiced?" I urged Mary and Derek, instinctively falling into a rhythm. "The dance in the living room when we blasted music too loud? The way we all laughed so hard we cried? Let us move together, let that joy fill our hearts more than the fear." And we danced. We danced as the shadows shrieked, pulling from them all the strength we had. The light around us pulsated with energy, matching our rhythm, and with every step, every giggle, the creature faltered further. Together I breathed, the warmth of unity wrapping around us solidly. But before I could breathe a sigh of relief, a new chill washed over us. A dark figure loomed in the shadows, watching with intent. It felt different, colder, and I could sense that whatever was next would be far worse than the creature we battled. "We're not alone," I whispered, fear knotting in my stomach. What more was hiding in the darkness? Before I could process my fear, the glimmer of our unity pushed back against the shadows. The room trembled with the force of our families rising together. The memories we conjured struck the creature like bolts of lightning, showering it in warmth, yet anxiety clawed at my heart. Who or what else lurked in the periphery? Then Mary squared her shoulders, breaking our moment of remembrance. "Mom, focus. Look around us. We need to face what we've buried, or we can't overcome this." Her words anchored me in a strange way. Yes, the creature shimmered and shrank, but it still had the power to weave our fears into something tangible. It swelled in size, morphing again, as if it could materialize our deepest connection to shame and regret. "No. We won't be your puppets. We choose love," I yelled, feeling our memories blaze brighter in defiance. I gripped my son's shoulder, squeezing hard, and he responded by pressing closer. With Mary by my side, we created a triangular shield, wielding memories like a force field against the pressing darkness. Suddenly, the air thickened again, and with it came fragments of more painful pasts, undulating around us like spirits from the grave. To my horror, fleeting images flashed rejections, betrayals, regrets. You are defined by these. The voice dipped low, taunting us from the shadows. You indulge in happiness while I am real. The fear gripped me so tightly that I could scarcely breathe. No. We are real. Our laughter, our love, these cannot be erased by darkness. I refused to let the creature deceive us into believing we were weak. The creature lunged again, but we met its attack with our memories, a cacophony of joy sealing the cracks where shadows seeped in. Remember the pool party? I shouted, branching out our collective memories like veins feeding into a heart. Yes. Mary shouted back, rolling the moment over her tongue, fueling it with fondness. The day we all splashed around, laughing like fools. The light pulsed again, matching our voice with a brightness that swamped the cornered shadows, squeezing them more until they danced like torches, flickering with unpredictable rhythms. As the memory washed forward, the darkening figure's resolve faltered. Our joy was a force, lighting even the darkest corners of our hearts. With newfound clarity, I turned towards the creature, whose growls echoed with uncertainty now. We are family. You cannot divide us. The creature shrieked, thrashing violently as though my declaration stung it deeply. I'm not afraid of what you think. I will consume your happiness. The challenge rang through the air, but it was more of a desperate holler than a taunt now. I could feel the unease ripple through its twisted essence. Together. Derek boomed. Suddenly, he took a step forward, anchoring us to him. Together, we are too strong for you. His voice exploded like fireworks, piercing through the storm, dampening our resolve. Yes. Mary matched him, her smile breaking through the fear like dawn breaking an interminably dark night. Like the time we built that laughter-filled fort. Remember? Our safe space. As we conjured that joyous memory, chaos erupted. The creature bellowed, claws slashing through the air in retaliation. But we pressed on. Together, I whispered, guiding them closer. We won. Be broken. Bright colors burst from our voices, a riot of warmth and connection screaming against the night. The creature twisted, shrieked and writhed as it dissipated into a mist, swept away in the tidal wave of our unity. Each sobering laugh, each shared story repositioned the balance. Stay strong. Derek yelled to us, holding his hand out toward the fading ink of the shadows, leading us into the light. Then, with a final blast of unity, we pushed relentlessly into the inky void, memories swirling around us, stretching into a constellation of light that shattered the creature's last echoes. Finally, we were left in soft light, a comforting blur of warmth pooling around us. The previous chaos ebbed, and with it, the tension that had gripped my heart like a vice began to fade. I looked at Derek and Mary, both breathing heavy sighs that echoed through this newfound clarity. With resolve deepening within me, I cradled my son and daughter. We faced fears together. We reclaimed our light. Mary's eyes shone with pride. We are not just defined by what we face but by how we face it together. I leaned down, pulling them closer in an embrace, feeling the collective pulse of our family as it wrapped securely around us. Together, we could face whatever the world threw our way, not just the creature from the night, but all that haunted us, our own internal shadows. And with that, underneath the fleeting gold of dawn breaking beyond the storm's aftermath, I felt the weight of redemption settle softly in my chest. We had emerged, stronger and more connected than ever. This was not where the journey ended. There would be more battles to fight, shadows to face, but now, together as a family, we could drift through the darkest of nights, and emerge into the light. So, if you're still here, you need to hit that subscribe button right now to stay updated with the next exclusive stories. Smash that like button now so we can spread these words that matter. And flood the comments section with your thoughts and theories on this wild conclusion. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait even 1 second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to experience this epic finale. You're the true fans, and your voice matters.